The season so far is a challenge. Even though it was mild in May, the cold nights at the moment are slowing development. There's the old adage that you want one at the top on the 1st of June and all at the top on the 21st of June. What are we, 10 days away now, and majority are nowhere near the top. Without that growth there, you won't get the laterals, so it's going to start impacting on yield soon. And as a double whammy, we are beginning to find all the pests as well, because the wet is really inducing it. There's residuals from last year's crop as well. Considering how cold it's been, we're finding an amazing amount of red spider.
They don't normally come out when it's less than 10 degrees at night. But
no, they are making their presence now. More so than the aphids, actually, which is surprising.
The aphids have been well checked, but there's been quite a lot of ladybird activity from what I've seen.
I think that's it. The predators left over from last year, from the high burden of aphids from last season. I think there was a lot of ladybird carryover, and they have just been around mopping up. But in a wet season, you tend to have a lot more aphids, and they either haven't appeared or the aphids are just ladybirds. Have just done a cracking job of eating them up.
The proper name for red spider mite is two-spotted spider mite.
I thought you were going to ask me for Latin then.
No.
They overwinter quite happily, ironically, in the hot poles, in woody materials. So if you've got nettles, you've got woody plants around the outside, or you've got, and of course, they'll just love living in the crevices on hot poles. And they come out of there. So if they're unchecked, they can populate really, really quickly. And they will put that brown tinge on a crop very easily.
They essentially feed from the plant, don't they? And where they feed, that plant will die. So the leaves go brown and start to fall off.
And the cones go brown as well. It's a really weird orange tinge, even though called red spider mite. It's more of an orange tinge. And of course the other problem is it's in patches. They sort of develop, obviously they're very small, don't travel very far. So it's not like a fungal disease which will take the crop out uniformly. It becomes in patches, and it makes it much more difficult to control.
But when it warms up, they can reproduce. They can be generations in a matter of days.
And that's half the problem, is that you can have that underlying thing, it's cold at the moment, there's not many there, I don't have to worry about it. And then you have a hot week and the population will just explode. I think it's every 4 days they can double.
So you haven't seen many aphids at all?
I am finding a few in every hop yard. The threshold, they generally say, is 2 cows, which is the mother aphid that produces the nits. And you're not quite finding the cows. There's a lot of nits everywhere.
The cows bring the problem, but it's the nits that damage the crop.
Yeah, well, you've got to try and preempt it. And there isn't really a predator. There's a lovely lot of lacewings. And of course, we've been fortunate with the ladybirds. Traditionally, they used to say that when they cut the wheat in the arable fields, the ladybirds move off the wheat and always come to the hop yard. So they only come in at the end of the season.
And have you seen any repercussions from the huge amounts of rain that we've had?
I think the amount of rain we've had is the depletion of nitrogen. Combine that with just the sheer water coming down has really made the soils compacted. So we subsoiled and titillated the surfaces. Any hop yards lying in water, the roots will die out.
The fine roots, yeah.
And they're the ones that need to do the feed. Yeah, so double whammy is the compaction and leaching of nitrogen. So we've got to, and then that's why they probably haven't got away as quickly as we'd hoped.
Ironically, your use of farmyard manure may not have helped.
Yeah, well, using farmyard is a cumulative building up a program of trying to get organic matter, so it will help the aeration of soil and stop its compaction with heavy rain. And there's another problem we've been hit with. The soils haven't got warm yet. They haven't had the intensity of sunshine, because nitrogen will move very quickly when the soil is warm. The plant can take it up, but without this warmth, this mediocre weather that we're getting at the moment, it's not getting into the plant quickly enough. It's not moving enough.
It's effectively bound up in the soil, really, isn't it?
Well, it's waiting for a nice warm day to really push on, and that's the danger. We keep trying to push them, and then suddenly they'll go and causes another problem.
Well, we know they'll grow at least 6 inches in a day if the conditions are right, but I think these cold nights are really what's slowing everything down.
Oh, terribly so.